What's up, guys? Have you ever been curious about the Aerogarden systems? Have you ever wanted to see one in person or see how they're used? Would you like to see my brand new Aerogarden system? Well, stick around today because that's what we're doing. Roll the intro. My name is Jesse, and this is Healthy Growth. Today, we're going to be talking about the Aerogarden systems. Now, I've had the Bounty system for approximately 5 to 7 years. I don't remember exactly when I got it. It's been a while since I've had it. And I do enjoy using it. It's a pretty easy system to use. There's not much involved with it. But I recently upgraded and now I have the Farm XL. Now it's a 24 pod system, which my Bounty system was actually only 9 pods. I'll show you what a pod is when we go in. We're going to be going into the grow room today so I can do this unboxing of the Aerogarden Farm XL. I originally bought one on Amazon and it was kind of expensive, and then I went onto the Aerogarden website and found it's actually on sale right now. So if you want to get one for yourself, go check it out and you can save some money. So I decided to order one from the Aerogarden website. Now I was planning to send the one from Amazon back so that I could save $100. Throughout this process, I just decided to keep both of them. I know I could still send it back and buy a second one and still save $200, but it takes quite a while to come through the mail, and with everything going on with the mail system right now and Trump undermining it, it's gonna take a while before I get that second system. So I have this one right now, why not put it to use? But today's the unboxing. I'm gonna put it together. I'm gonna try to explain as much as I can about the system, and I'll kind of show you, maybe I'll show you my old system. The old system, I accidentally burnt it with an additional lamp. So it's kind of melted in one spot. It doesn't hinder it in any way. It just looks a little ugly in that spot. But one of the main reasons why I decided to upgrade and get a new one was for the fact that the LED light has started strobing. Now today I'm lucky it's not strobing. Yesterday it was. For some reason it just decides when it wants to and when it doesn't want to. I've looked at a couple videos here on YouTube and found that it may be the heat sink on one of the relays which may be overheating it. And so I've thought about taking the light apart and removing that heat sink that goes above the relays and see if that does anything. It may or may not. The damage may have already been done, so but it still remains plugged in. I still add water to it. All the plants, because I had forgot about it for a little bit, they pretty much died off. But here we are. We got a new set. Let's go check it out. Alright guys, welcome back to the grow room. Behind me is a pretty big box. Weighs about 54 pounds and it had to be shipped through the UPS. It's supposed to be 2-day air. Unfortunately, it took about a full week before I could get it. Kind of sucks, but I guess business days or whatever's going on with them. But yeah, so we take a look. This is the box. Now let's take a look inside. Alright, so first up what we have here, we've got some of what they call their seed pods. So these are little kits that are pre-made that basically have seeds stored in them, and all you have to do is plug the pods in and you turn on the machine add water, add nutrients, and does the rest. So we'll take a look at those in just a moment here. Let's see here. These look like some wires and cables. So the cables are to suspend the lights. So we'll get into that as we put it together. We've got some crinkled up instructions. And it looks like we have a couple of recipes, one for a tomato basil soup. And then I've also got one for a lemon dill vinaigrette. Sounds interesting. We definitely want to keep the assembly guide. We're going to have to put this together. I'm going to move these pod kits over to my shelf here because I've got more pod kits. I've even got some DIY pod kits if you guys want to see that. Looks like this is a converter that is supposed to measure the water levels for the pumps. So this may be a part of the smart unit system. Starting off, these are some of the rails. Just so you're aware, I got the 36-inch farm, which means plants can grow up to about 3 feet. I was kind of assuming these boxes would be empty, but that is not empty. Handy dandy box cutter. Does feel like springs. Limited warranty and a quick planting guide. This one feels like an empty box, but let's check it just to be sure. And yep, that was empty. So that was just for packaging. This is the important stuff. So this is a light. Definitely need to be careful with those. Second light. This is one of the first basins, and you can see, if you can see through the plastic, there's little holes. That's what the pods will sit into. Second basin. And this is the top of the unit. It's got the LED display in here. As long as also has the smart system built into it with Wi-Fi. This also has the automatic raising and lowering system for the lights. So that's going to be interesting to see. Set that to the side. And the rest is just packaging. Alright, so now we can put it all together. make sure we follow the instructions. This is too expensive to be wasting. So I've got my little instruction manual. So first thing it tells me, step 1. So right off the bat, the frame feels like it's pretty good quality. I mean, that feels like steel. You can see the cords are pre-run, so it feels nice and hidden. That's really nice. Connect this like so, and then it wants me to fasten together 2 of these small bolts, one on each side with a washer on each as well. They even provide the Allen wrench needed for it. Nope. So I need to make sure, they actually do label it. I didn't notice that before, but there's an L here on the foot. So what I actually need to do is take this off and put it on the other side. Ugh. one side. So one thing to note when putting this together is that in these little side hatches where you have to screw more of the plastic to the frame, the plastic is not perfectly lined up, so you may need to bend it with just a little bit of force into its correct spot and then screw it in. And also, screwing these in, it is not exactly an easy fit. It is definitely a snug fit on these screws. This one's actually going in quite a bit easier, especially while I'm holding the plastic into place. So if you were looking at putting one of these together yourself, I would just recommend, you know, if you are not experienced in putting things together, i.e. furniture or other electronics, you may need to get some assistance for this. Go lay down, Rita. Go lay down. The dog needs a place to lay down. I'll be right back. Alright, all that sliding around did scratch it just a little bit, but it's not going to be perfect, so I don't really mind. I do wish I had a towel or something. There is a little plastic covering on the face shield, so you won't have to worry about scratching your LED. There's some minor scratches, so if you do have a rug or carpet, it's probably going to be best to do it onto that. Let's slide this back so you can get a good view. But you can see how tall this model really is. So I'm 5'5", so you can say that's probably about 3.5, maybe 4 foot. Alright, these are the little braces. Alright, next step per the instructions is to move your Aerogarden into the space that you're going to want to keep it. I'm planning on putting mine right beside each other. course, next step is placing the basins down. So inside your basins, that's the water fill hole. Inside your basins, look at the instructions because it's not only open, I don't want to force it open. Okay, so for this one, the whole lid lifts off. Alright, so the next step is to take your water basins and line them up right over here. So if we look closely here, there's little tabs here. We got to take those out. So that's what that looks like. So I can get a zoom. So that's the little plug. So essentially you'll take these out, and at the end of those cords there, they have little cylindrical steel pieces. Those are gonna go inside of these and lock in to a little notch. So you can see there's a little notch there. So the wire is gonna go into that little notch, and then we'll put the plug back in. Now they did provide 2 extra of those little plugs in case you lose some. Alright, so as you can see, it looks like one of them tilted. Once we turn on the machine, we should be able to fix that. But we got one more left to do, so the same thing. Now, because that one was lower, it was significantly easier. You can see that it's a little bit more even on both sides than the other one was. Place your little stoppers in there, and that helps keep it locked in place. Next you have these little cords. Now this is what's going to attach the actual lights to the unit so that it has control over them. That appears to be it. So the next thing is to just plug it in. Alright guys, here you have it. This is the completed item. As you can see, it is pretty big. Now I was playing with it for a moment off camera, and I did finally get the lights to be even. It seemed like some of the cord was tangled up in there, and so as I raised and lowered it, I just kind of tugged on it a little bit and it came loose. So they are at even heights. Now this is pretty similar to the other system that I have on the shelf here, but it is also pretty different. So with this one, you actually have to choose which side you want to control. So you could choose individually on which side you want to mess with. Now let's get a closer look at this here. Alright, so you can see here on the control panel that you have control over left and right. It does give you information for both water levels and plant food. These are, of course, since I just plugged it in, I can set the time if I need to. Let's see, so set the clock, there we go. So based on what time it is, which for me, I have it at 2:17 p.m. And so what the clock is for is if you are setting up your timer. So let's say you've got this out in the middle of everywhere, or let's say you even have it in your bedroom. Well, this will turn on and it will run for about 14 hours a day, I believe it is. So it's going to turn on at a certain time and it's going to turn off at a certain time. The water is still going to run. It stays running. You can set that as well. So our pump settings here. So you can see it's going to run for 60 minutes and it's going to be off for 660. So let's change that. Okay, so that's for germination mode. It runs for an hour just to get the... Let's go over that really quick. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you the lights. So you can raise and lower. You hear that little motor. I'll back you up here so you can see it. So as I raise and lower this, it's all mechanical. So that's kind of neat. The only worries I have about that is what happens as this motor goes out and you're kind of stuck with it where it's at. So unless I can get in there and try to really get it going again, I don't know. It may be out of the $800 it costs to buy this thing. But since they are at the first growth cycle, you want to keep the lights down at the very bottom. And let's go over what goes in these things. How do you grow something out of this? Alright, so in here, when you order this, if you order from the website, you get to choose what your seed pod kits come with. I ordered this one on Amazon, so it was kind of just pre-chosen for me. So I've got a tomatoes salad bar, and I've got a herbs and lettuces. So let's break it open. We'll go ahead and pop them in, get some going. What you get with your seed pod kit. You get a little instruction manual, kind of tells you how to do things. You also get these little seed pods. You get little dome covers for germination, so you can keep the moisture up. And you also get bottles of liquid plant food. I'll show you my shelf here in a little bit, but I've been stocking up on DIY pod kits. This is the tomato. So I'll do tomatoes on the left and I'll do salad greens on the right. But essentially all you'll have to do is take your pod and then you take your dome, you pop that on top of it. With the stickers, sometimes they don't like to stay on, but essentially that's all you're doing here. And you're good. Focus. There we go. So down in there, there's a little hole. That's where the seeds are at. This one says golden, so this is a golden tomato, maybe cherry tomato type thing. But you take your little pod and you just pop it in the hole. It's really that easy. This is going to provide you with all the information you need about the plant. If it's low on water, if you need to add plant food, and it's going to keep the light cycle on for what it needs. You can also, with these newer models, you can hook them up onto your Wi-Fi, so you can get notifications directly to your cell phone. So now you can take all the guesswork out of growing things. That's one reason why I really love the Aerogarden system, which is really why I decided to keep this one instead of sending it back and just have two. So now, in the winter time, I'm going to be able to continue growing and not have to worry about the weather because I've got this grow room. Now, one thing about hydroponics, because technically what this system is a hydroponic system. It's not an aeroponic system. One of the issues you may run into is if you are not planting something in every one of these holes, you're exposing your water source to light, which is a bad thing. Why? Because that's what's going to make mold grow in there. You know, mold likes dark, damp areas. So you are less likely to have root rot going on in there. You'll create mold in your system, which you don't want because that can clog up your pumps. It can be a very complicated system if you aren't following the rules correctly. Now, I am waiting on it, but I've ordered little plugs. They have little caps that you can cap these over. Now, why would you want to do that? Why not grow something out of every hole? So they do put these holes pretty close together. So if you know anything about growing, plants do need some space. Unless you are actually really maintaining it with going ahead and pruning them correctly, you're going to have some issues with them really crowding each other. Now I'll show you my other system that I have over here in just a moment on the shelf, and I really ran into an issue with that. As the plants get older, specifically basil is one of them, your lettuce greens, all of those types of plants that really like to spread out and become bushy, if they're too close together, they're going to shield each other from the light source, and that becomes a big problem. If the plants can't get light, then they can't grow, they die off. The only plants that I have left growing over there, because I did neglect them for a moment, the only thing that's growing is some basil, and I've got some parsley still in there, so hopefully those can still survive. I'll probably start using that for something else, maybe some side projects, but you can grow in just about anything with these. I ended up purchasing some do-it-yourself as well, so I've got the little sponges. These are made of peat moss, but the little sponges, and I have little pods, so you put your sponges in your pods. Those are a little different, but you put your sponges in your pods and you put your stickers on it. You can write on the stickers. I've got domes, so essentially I could grow just about anything I wanted in this system. The only thing I would recommend against trying to grow in these aeroponics or Aerogarden systems is any kind of deep tap rooting vegetable. So I would avoid potatoes, I would avoid radishes, I would avoid carrots, anything that's that type of vegetable, any true vegetable I guess, I would avoid growing in here, because essentially it's just a water basin down there. And that's not what these types of systems are made for. These are made for leafy green types, and they're also made for fruiting plants. So anything that's like that, these are going to work great for. Well, let's take a look at my other plant here. So this is my kind of my work shelf where I've got all my supplies. So over here I've got a lot of the plant foods. I've got some water for easy reach for up there. So lots of little bottles. You can see I've been stocking up on this liquid plant food because I've been stocking up on sponges. For that one there, what my hope to use this one for is starting seeds for other hydroponic systems that I'm going to be doing outside. I know you guys saw a little glimpse of the towers that I have in my garage. That's my hope for this system, is to use that to start seedlings and transfer those into my tower system. So this is a seed starting kit. You can see I've got sponges in there. They are not loaded up with seeds yet, but this tray fits into that perfectly. If I can get the light to function properly, like I said, today it's working well. It's not flashing on me, but other days it is just flashing, strobing nonstop. Today it is working well, so I need to open it up and try to get into it and see if I can't take off the heat sink that's covering the relay, and supposedly that should stop it. This box down here below, so if I can't get that to work properly, the box down below my seed starter is actually a seed starter kit for this new system that I bought. So at some point I can still start seeds and get them ready for my own hydroponic systems, which those I may or may not be able to grow some rooting plants. We'll have to stick around and see what I can do with that. But all the different seeds that I have with these self-starting pod kits, again, I can grow just about whatever I want to grow. So what should I grow? You tell me. My wife is really trying to grow some watermelons outside. We've got one good sized one that's really going. We had another small starting one, but some kind of critter took off with it. And there's another baby one starting here soon. So hopefully we can have some watermelons. Maybe this system could be good for watermelons. It has a lot of water, so that's the only issue. But I've got some other hydroponic systems that are coming in. Ones that I plan to grow some lettuce with. Those are going to be done outside. Those may also be really good for the watermelon. I don't know if you got to see it down here below. I'll go ahead and show you again. But down on my shelf, down in this area here, next to the water, there's some various parts that are for a deep culture hydroponic system that my wife built. It was a very simple system. You can do it yourself. Maybe if you would like to know how to do that, leave a comment down below and I can go over what one of these deep culture hydroponic systems are. Essentially all you really need is some kind of large Tupperware system that's going to hold a lot of water. It's some kind of 10-gallon Tupperware. And then these are what's called air stones. So you would have an air pump that pumps into the air stones, pumps air into the water, really aerates it really well. And essentially, you're just gonna have a plant that grows roots down into the water basin. Very similar to how this is done, except this has a water pump that flows into the sponges. And then the roots still grow to the bottom into the basin as they get older. In fact, I can kind of show you guys on this one. Let me get you up there. Let me get my step stool. Now I know this has already been a long video, but I kind of wanted to show you. So with this, so a lot of this is dead, and so the water is really turning nasty. But you can see the root systems really hang down into there. This really needs to be cleaned out once over. I was trying to see if I can make this basil continue to grow. I've got some kind of little black bug that was attaching itself to this, eating on it. But hopefully I've gotten rid of that. These are some little parsley that I was trying to get to grow well. It's not doing great. It looks like that was part of some lettuce that was trying to still survive. Yeah, it looks like that's where the little bugs are hanging out at, or down in those. So it's probably time to go ahead and turn this one off, clean it up, and move on. Get some new startings. But let me know what you'd like to see. I mean, there's plenty of things to go over. I've got some new projects, so I definitely want you guys to stick around. I am gonna finish those towers at some point. They are a little bit of a task, so I don't know if that's something that you guys want to really take on, but it's gonna be really interesting to see the product when it's done. Today I've got some new hydroponic systems that are arriving for outside. I've still got to go buy some water basins to keep the water supply, but those are going to be for outside. Definitely going to do a video on those, so stick around for that. And I don't know, just let me know on what we can do. I can show you how to do some seed starting. Actually, yeah, outside in my gardens, the lettuces are doing really well with all this sun and the water that they're getting. The carrots look like they're doing well. The kale and the cabbages are really suffering in this Texas heat right now. So what I plan to do is start getting into that again. I need to start some seeds getting ready for fall. So I'll probably plant some more cabbage and kales. I can put cabbage and kales in one of these systems. So if you want to see that, I can show you how to load these pods and do it yourself, and we can get things going and we kind of watch the progress. Now with these Aerogarden systems, if you're doing it correctly, and all you have to do is follow the instructions, if you're doing it correctly, you can grow your food within about 3 to 4 weeks. I mean, this thing really accelerates the way things grow. So for all of you marijuana lovers out there, if you can grow a tomato, you can grow a marijuana plant. And this thing can grow tomatoes. So let me know if you'd like to try that. I do live in Texas, it is legal, but maybe I can use that guy for something. Let me know, leave a comment down below, and I'll watch. Let me leave a comment down below and let me know. Otherwise, I'll catch you guys next time. Grow healthy, my friends.
Perfect.